Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. And as you may or may not be aware, I have been doing quite a lot of work with the Lighthouse Project, co-founded with Diana Davison. And we've started this project primarily to help people falsely accused of various crimes and offenses in the college Star Chamber tribunals, as well as in the criminal courts and in the court of public opinion and social media. But what we did not predict was that we were going to spend an awful lot of time helping fathers trying to get parental access to their own kids in custody disputes and divorces. That turns out to be what we have spent an awful lot of time doing, and it seems to be a primary activity for the Lighthouse Project. So, as a byproduct of that, I have come up with things to do and things to not do if you are a father trying to fight for custody of your children or trying to gain increased parenting time with your children. Let's begin. Number 1, remember who the court is supposed to care about. The court is supposed to care about your children. That means not you and not your rights to be a father. And in spite of the apparent culture of female favoritism, the court is also not supposed to care about the rights of your ex-wife, at least in regards to who has parental access to your kids. Your kids need access to both parents. And although there are a lot of female-favoring actors within the family court system, it is in the best interest of children to make sure that they have access to both parents. Now, that means that if you're a father who has endured a prolonged separation from your children, it will not work for you to assert your rights to them, because it's not your rights that the court cares about, it's your kids' rights. What the court is properly interested in is seeing that your kids get access to both parents, not just to you. Your kids are not possessions to fight over. They're the people who you are supposed to parent. Point number 2. Remember that while your kids might be very young, unworldly, and inexperienced compared to you, they are fundamentally just as smart as you are, and they will see through any BS that you try to pull on them. So, obviously, don't try to pull any BS on them. If you do, it will color and poison your relationship with them forever. Number 3, don't make your children into weapons against your ex. That means don't use them as messengers in your fight with your ex. Don't cultivate your animosity towards your ex in the attitudes of your children. Don't even let them know of the dirty tactics that your ex is using on you. And for God's sake, do not imagine for even a second that if you use your kids as weapons, you won't do them irreparable harm just because you think you're clever or more subtle, or that you're doing it to a lesser degree than your ex is. Just don't do it. Point number 4. If you are fighting for increased parenting time or increased custody, be prepared to get increased custody. That means don't just be caught flat-footed with no ability to parent your kids because you have work commitments when the judge suddenly says to you, surprise, they're moving from their mom's house and staying at your house starting today. Call your mom and have her ready to come watch your kids. Call your adult brother or your adult sister and have them ready to come watch your kids. Make sure your kids have a room of their own in your house. Make sure you have the ability to pick them up from school and drive them to swimming or ballet or whatever other things that they were already doing on a regular routine when you suddenly won your increased parenting time with them. Number 5, do what the judge tells you. And do what the court-ordered psychologist tells you. If you have to have an assessment by a psychologist, go get an assessment. In Canadian family law, this is sometimes called a 211 report, and it costs anywhere from 10 grand up to 15 grand. There will be a bunch of things wrong with you in that report. Address these as problems to be fixed, not as arguments to be argued. You might be told you need to take an anger management course. Well, if you're told that, do it. You might be told you need to take a parenting course, and if the 211 report says that you need that, then do it. The court does not care about your hurt feelings. The court cares about your kids, or at least that's what they're supposed to care about. The judge doesn't actually want to deal with you or your ex. You're supposed to handle shared parenting time with her without his legal orders to do so. And that means that in going into the family court, you're entering an arena where your presence is seen from the get-go by the judge as a problem that you helped to cause. Point number 6. She is going to push your buttons, and she knows where they are and how to push them. She knows what to say and what to do that will drive you into a state of emotionally reactive foolishness. Every single email, every single text message and voicemail that you send is going to be read by a judge who has probably already been told that you are a dangerous, axe-murdering, child-molesting, Nazi, satanic Republican member of the cult of Cthulhu. So everything you do and say should be written for the eyes of the judge, not written for your ex to drive her into an emotional state, no matter how satisfying that might be to you. Point number 7, and this is the final point. Remember that while you are in this fight for access to your kids, if you can win, the woman you are fighting with is your kid's mother. And when this is over and you've won, she's still going to be their mother. So even if it seems like she's playing for all the marbles in a zero-sum game, you have to remember to fight for an outcome in which you can both win, not an outcome in which you win and she loses. Because remember, what you're fighting for is your kids, not for yourself. So that's the video, and if you want to help a father gain access to his children or help children not be alienated from either parent, you can support the Lighthouse Project by going to our Patreon or to our PayPal and make a donation. And as always, thanks very much for watching, and have a lovely day.